Watch this video, then let's talk.
Blade speaks on people calling him a red flag. Check out this clip.
I pretty much came in and just wanted to let people know I'm not perfect, but I have a lot of things going for myself. So even with the red flag conversation, it's like, let's kind of tone that down a lot, because a lot of men would love to be in my position and the things that I've done. You know, the things that I've been able to accomplish, I'm really happy about that. And I'm very well grounded. I have so much support, and I'm really happy with the support system that I was able to grow over these years. You can't be a red flag and have, just so many blessings come to your life. I would say the biggest issue is that in relationships, I need work on. Like I came from a little bit of everything working well in my life, and I didn't really focus on the relationship aspect. So I do the show to build an emotional connection, and I realized, okay, I'm doing all this work in my life and in my job, in my entrepreneurship, my business. I need to put the work in my relationship. So I think that was a little bit the underlying message.
Have I seen Love is Blind? No. Do I want to see Love is Blind? No. Why? Because they have, excluding the very first season, they have a track record of traumatizing Black women. Shows like this do it all the time. Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, you name it, there are Black women somewhere whose lives have been irreparably damaged. It fundamentally changed for the worst because of shows like this. Do I need to watch the entire season to be able to talk about this clip? No, because he says so much that encapsulates so much that we can all learn from. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Shayna. If you're new here, I talk a lot about decentering men, child-free living, a bunch of other things. I'm also a journalist. Is there a part of me that's thinking about making a series called We Should Listen to Men? Yes. Why? Because if we listen to them, if we just open our ears, keep our hearts guarded, but just open these bad boys, they will share so much truth that can save us a lifetime's worth of pain and therapy. First thing to note here, Clay seems to really want people to stop talking about his red flags. It makes him feel uncomfy. It makes him feel like, oh no, people have seen my actions and I don't like that I've been witnessed. Not perceived, witnessed in abject villainy, right? I don't need to watch the entire season to see the clips on TikTok. I've basically seen all of the big parts, right? So with that, I think that it's super important that women or people that date men in general prioritize their safety, which can include mental safety, psychological safety, emotional safety. You have to prioritize your safety over men's discomfort. He's allowed to be uncomfortable. And the fact that he has behaved badly publicly, and people are making justified judgments about his behavior. He's allowed to be like, oh no, he's allowed to do that. And we are allowed to continue these kinds of conversations. Why? Because it will save somebody else. Now, while I don't consider this to be gossip, I think that there is a villainization of the idea of gossiping that once upon a time, and even nowadays, saves women's lives. Gossiping historically, and there's a video, I'm going to see if I could find it and tag it below. Whenever I find it, I'll tag it below. But that talks about the history of gossip, that talks about how gossip once upon a time was not seen as evil or as just like women chittering with each other, right? It was a means of information distribution from women to save lives. Information that could not make its way into the man space, because then that information would alert the men that the women are organizing, right? And men always fear when women organize. Especially, they fear when women organize in general, they especially fear when marginalized women organize. So it's literally just a means of hushed communication, so that way life-saving information can be can be disseminated among the group, right? So he's upset that these kinds of conversations that once upon a time happened in the hush-hush are now happening in public spheres. That's all. And he can write about it in his journal if he ever wants to. He can talk to his dad about it, who seems to be a terrible example, which like the dad has also said in like some of these clips that he was a terrible example of fatherhood. And then the dad was like, oh, talking to his mom, not the dad's mom, the dad and the mom of Clay were talking, and the dad was like, yeah, he should find somebody like you. And then the mom was like, but you treated me poorly, so what good would that do? Like, this man will never be able to, like, unless he does the work on himself, which it genuinely sounds like he's not. It genuinely sounds like he's not doing the work to improve himself. He says that he's going to do work on like relationships, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be doing self-work. There's a lot of people out there, and this is not men specific, there's a lot of people out there that while healing in relationship is good, doing the work independently while still in community, not in relationship, in community is important. You can independently do your work in community, so that way you are whole and healthy enough to enter into relationship and grow those skills while also maintaining community. He sounds like he is missing the independent part, because he's like, I'm doing great, I'm phenomenal, like I'm an entrepreneur and I make good monies, and like I need to work on my relationship, and I'm gonna do that. It's not, I don't see this, I don't see him growing as a person, unless he's after he had that conversation, and after, who knows, maybe like a life-changing life coach that a man is actually going to listen. Oh God, I can't believe I said that. I take it back. I don't know. Thoughts and prayers to Clay and whatever woman decides to interact with him. Just God bless. Another thing that I think is important to discuss here is that he thinks that his financial success negates the red flags that are his behavior, which just further reiterates this notion that men only see their financial standing as the things that people should look at. None of the other skills that women have been talking about for decades that they need in order to remain in relationship with men. He's focused on his financial outcome. And that's why, the red flag shouldn't be a thing, because I make good money. How could I be a red flag if I could make good money? As if he's never encountered a terrible partner that makes good money before. There are abusive people that make good money. This should not be a new thought to him. But it seems like it would be. He also said a very concerning quote about, how can I be a red flag if I have, I wrote it down to make sure that I didn't mess it up. You can't be a red flag and have blessings come into your life. What about Donald Trump? He's in the process of running for president again, and he's doing very well in the polls. Explain that to me. And while we're here, there is a very seamless tie-in to the prosperity gospel and the toxicity that is apparent in this quote. So for those of you who have not had the luxury of being traumatized by the Christian church, hi, my name is Shayna. I'm a recovering Pentecostal. I know. Maybe that's why I'm so animated. So for those of you who don't know what the prosperity gospel teachings and whatnot is, it is, and I'm really reducing it, but it kind of boils down to this. It's the idea that if you prosper, that means that God is showing blessings to your life. You are favored by God if there's something tangible financially to prove how loved you are by God. There's also a tie into this that people do where it's like, oh, the more that you give financially to the church, the more that you will be blessed by God, specifically when it comes to finances. So there's a lot, it's a very ongoing conversation about money and the church, and blessings from God, not necessarily in the form of relationship, love, community, healthy independence, values, quality. No. It all comes down to money. Now, this kind of mentality allows for a lot of bad behavior to be seen as things to be envied because they can be seen as blessings from God if we are only looking at blessings and favor in the form of financial gain. There's also a pretty clear, or at least in my mind, clear tie-in to like manifest destiny, colonialism, when it comes to these kinds of things, right? All inherently problematic, but it's perpetuating this idea of I have a lot of things in a capitalist society. I have a lot of things, thus people should respect me. People should know that not just respect me as an individual, but respect me as somebody dignified in the eyes of a higher power. I am above reproach because I have shiny things, is basically what he's saying in this. Now, I don't know Clay. Do I want to know Clay? No. Do I want to know people like Clay? No. But I think that there's things to be learned about how we could better interact with others around us by analyzing what he's saying, because he's not the only person to believe this. He's not the only person to have these ideals. So if we can recognize these thoughts and what these thoughts mean. When people say these things, they're bringing up all of these other ideas with them. If we can acknowledge what these are before we are in a hot spot, then we are better equipped to navigate these kinds of conversations or situations in a way that protects us emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, sometimes physically. Also, not to say Clay would do anything like that, or people like Clay would do anything like that. I don't know. Once again, I don't know people like that, nor do I want to. But these are, once again, learning opportunities. So please share your thoughts. I would love to know, do you agree? Do you disagree? If you watched Love is Blind, thoughts and prayers to you. Like, I hope that you're doing well. This show is a mess, and I think they're being sued a couple of times also. It's crazy over there. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay,